All right, I think we are officially live. If you guys can hear me, let me know in chat because I don't like talking to myself. And as much as this thing is supposed to do it on its own, there has been a couple times where it has failed in the past week, so I'm not trusting it 100%. So if you guys can hear me, let me know in chat. Send me some gifs. Put a picture of my brother. Do whatever you want to do. But let me know that you can hear me. I want to start off the recording, of course, by thanking everybody who is here, everybody who joins me every single week when we do these shows and have these conversations. And the goal of this show, this little show that Crystal and I have, is really to showcase some of the songwriters on the platform, the people that are trying to do original music. You know, nothing against the people that do covers, but my passion is those who like to share their soul, and you can tell it when I do my picks, you know, for the open mic competition. So, for this week, Crystal, can you hear me?
I can, but my alarm went off, so I freaked out and tried to stop that before I hit my push to talk.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. Well, it's live radio, so this kind of stuff every single show has little glitches, and it's part of it being live radio. So it's all good. How are you doing today?
Not too bad. How are you going?
I'm doing good. I was giving you a hard time a second ago because I know that you didn't go to bed until a crazy amount of time. Like what time was it? Like 5 a.m., 6 a.m.?
It was after 5 a.m. I really didn't look at the time, but yeah, it was pretty bad.
Yes, M1, we are live. We are live. M1 wants to know if we are live. M1, we are live. This is real. It's happening. And
we're doing it live, baby.
Yeah, and we might be having issues with the audio. It says speak louder. Speak louder. Well, I don't know. Ronan told me the OBS was fine. So is Ronan around? He might not be. He might not be around, but if worse comes to worse, I will go into mobs and see if I can increase the volume. Worst comes to worst, but I rather him do it. Really, I wouldn't want to touch it. So, anyways, guys, today I have a very special guest. She was actually number 2 last week's open mic competition, and it was also her second entry to the open mic ever, and maybe her third post. Am I wrong? I don't think I am.
I think that was my third post. You're right.
All right.
See, I was serious when I said you're making big waves in your first couple of weeks here. You're doing really well.
Yeah, Lilly. Well, Lilly Wilton. So for those who don't know who Lilly Wilton is, she placed on second place last week on the open mic competition, and I just heard her entry right now. I'm supposed to be a judge and not supposed to be biased, but it's great. So I'm just gonna say that. You know, we can talk more about that next week. But you guys should go listen to it. It's pretty awesome. So Lilly, welcome to the show. I'm really happy that you're here. I'm excited to have this conversation because I know, and I say this with love, that you're a little bit crazy. And that's awesome. Because that means this conversation is going to go everywhere. And that's the way I like it.
I am literally wearing a unicorn onesie as we speak.
Oh, that is so kick-ass.
Thank you guys so much for having me here. This is so cool. I'm so stoked. Well, I can't thank you enough. This is so awesome.
Well, I am the one who's grateful to have you here. And let me ask you. Yeah, and let me ask you, Lilly, because I'm just curious. First of all, I got to tell you something, and the reason, which is why I'm asking you this question. We just surpassed 1 million users on Steem, or 1 million accounts. And it's a huge milestone. I mean, that means that we are past the point of proof of concept. It's a mental barrier that just got passed, and that's going to do wonders for the platform. So I expect a lot of people that were on the sideline saying, was that a scam? Was that a scam? To now be like, okay, I'm jumping in. But I'm going to ask you, because you are almost a brand new account. Well, almost a brand new account. How did you find out about Steem? Like, how is it that you found us? Well, not me specifically, but Steem.
This story on Peace, Abundance, Liberty a couple days ago. I was actually on a date with this guy, and I had mentioned something about songwriting or music or something, and he was like, oh, well, have you heard of this thing called Steem It? And I was like, no, but you're cute, so I'm just gonna try it.
Love it.
So it was totally because of a date, and
well, I think that's great.
It brought me there. So
and so how did the date go though? Like, did it go well? Like, are you in this?
Oh yeah, 1,000% got a second date.
See, guys, if you're single guys, and you're thinking to yourself, oh, how do I secure like a good time with the date and all this stuff? Talk about Steem. It seems to work.
I mean, I'm here to vouch for it, so.
Exactly.
I think people like getting money. It's like giving someone access to just getting free money. It's like, yeah, you're not too bad.
Yep. Yeah, so he showed me the interface really quick, and a couple of days later, I hopped on the platform just to check it out, and I went to music and open mic, and I'm still learning a bunch of stuff, but just seeing how many talented people were on there and how much love and support was just everywhere. It seemed like a really, really cool community.
I think we're really lucky with the open mic community, that just how supportive and passionate they are about music and supporting one another here on Steem It.
Totally. It's so cool, and thank you guys so much for welcoming me into it, because it's such a rare thing to have a community like that, and a community of artists who can offer you great feedback or support or whatever you need. So I'm immensely grateful for everything you guys are doing.
No worries. Like, one of the biggest things when I helped set up the first round of judges, which we still have most of them, but
oh, Crystal got betrayed by technology.
My sister called me mid-show. What is she thinking? And I'm just like, no, I can't. I don't have enough hands for this. Sorry. But one of the first things when she's calling again, just a second, guys. I'm so sorry.
Live radio, guys.
No worries.
Live radio. But listen, yeah, they're asking for confirmation. Steem Harmony. That's a great idea, Serena. That is a great idea.
Yep.
Yeah, you just put that out there, and I know that because you put it out there, because that's how ideas work. They're like living things. You put that out there, somebody's gonna be like, oh, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. So watch it happen. Watch it happen. That's a great idea. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I've been saying for a little while that this whole idea that we have to be like secret agents of Steem, like, oh, I don't want to tell anybody about what I'm doing with Steem and all that is kind of, I don't know. It's kind of like shooting yourself in the foot a little bit, because obviously we want more people to come join the platform. We want more users, but on the other side of that coin, don't you want people that you like friends and stuff, to also make money doing art? I do. I mean, it's almost like you're telling them, hey, listen, can I give you money? Can I give you like some support? And they will be like, no, what a jerk! Oh my god, you're such an ass. Like that.
Yeah.
I have never had so much trouble trying to give people fucking money. Seriously.
No, but you know what? But I do get the skepticism. Like, if it does sound too good to be true, right? It does sound too good to be true. And the truth of it is,
100%.
Yeah, it is, and it is not that simple. I say this, Lily. I'm obviously at the expense of maybe this going over like to your head. Like, you're extremely talented, and the reason why you're standing out is because you are. So
thank you.
So to say to somebody, hey, listen, yeah, just jump on, man. You're gonna make all this money, and then what they do is put a little picture of a cat, and they're like, dude, I put like a picture of my cat, and I'd made like nothing. You know, so yeah, the expectation is important. And when we invite people to a platform, we let them know what this is all about. That we also are realistic about it. It's like not everybody is gonna, you know, come in on the second week and freaking, you know, blow it out of the water on the open mic. That's not common. But what it does give you the opportunity to do is for you to give it a good try, because the truth of the matter, on all the other platforms, if you're trying to do social media, right, and if you're trying to make money out of social media, whether it be YouTube, Twitch, or whatever, that's like a lotto ticket. Like, if you want to do good on YouTube, I don't even know what it takes today. I have no idea. Who's doing good on YouTube? Is there a little account doing good on YouTube? How do you get discovered?
I have no idea.
I don't think a little account would be, because it's all based on ad views. So they're not getting the views if they're small to have ad views, therefore no money. I think that's how it works, at least.
Yeah, I mean, I have a YouTube account, and I've never received a damn thing from YouTube. And so I can tell you. So that's the thing, though. But inviting people is key. Is really, we have to think of it also like investors. You know, we're like, oh yeah, we're participating on this platform. We're all growing. We're doing this community thing, which I absolutely love. But on the other hand, the value of this blockchain is also connected to the quality of people that are here, the quality of content that we are creating, and of course the size of the communities. There's the technology side of things, and that's undeniable. But the human quality is also key.
And that's really good as a new person to hear you guys talk about it, like how to talk to other people and essentially how to invite other people to Steem it. There's like a post out there that is just that. Like, please feel free to forward it my way, because
the way
I would love to know.
The way I like to talk about it, by the way, it's not easy. Like most of the time, people just think I'm trying to sell them Herbalife. I don't know if that makes any sense to anybody, but when I say to people, hey, listen, this is what I'm doing, blah blah blah, a lot of them look at me like a deer caught in headlights. They're like, yeah, like, so what? You make money from like writing shit? And I'm like, well, it's not like that, but yeah. I mean, but it's hard to explain. I mean, especially because the mathematics of the thing, right, are complicated, which is one of the reasons why we started the whole Helpy initiative and stuff, and do the trivia questions and all that, because to get people started today, this might not be the case a few months or years down the road, but today it's almost like you have to grab this chip that they have in their brain, take it out, throw it in the garbage, and put a new one, right? Because the way that they think social media works, the way even the way they think money works, doesn't apply, not 100% to our economy here. See what I mean? So that's why it's so complicated.
Makes sense. And I remember when I was nervous to like make a first post, I was thinking, at the end of the day, if one person says, "Hey, I really love the song that you wrote," then that's just cool. And like,
in effect, you had a heap of people saying that, I think.
Thanks. And it's really cool. Even if it's not like this monetary reward thing, like there's still so many benefits to just being vulnerable and connecting to people that I was like, this just seems so fucking dope. I have to try it.
I just love hearing that.
Yeah, you know what? Are you sure you're not Australian? I mean, because Australians do that. They'll say something very beautiful, but they'll put the word fucking in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So are you sure you're not Australian? Like, they'll be like pouring their heart out and say, "Man, I fucking love you, mate." Like, yeah.
It's emotive punctuation, okay?
Exactly.
It totally is.
Well, I hardly say "fuck" as an aggressive term. It's more to accentuate my point.
Yeah, no, I know that, and of course, this show we can do whatever we want because we don't get in trouble for that. We can put anything on the blockchain, which is also badass because we don't have that censorship aspect. Like you can talk about anything you want, and isn't that what we desire as humanity, like freedoms? So
absolutely. And if I wasn't able to swear, I'd probably not be able to do the show because I wouldn't be able to speak properly.
So how do I say I like it? Like a lot.
Yeah, I know. It's like just nothing would happen.
Yeah, because I say like it a lot, it's not good enough. I gotta say I fucking love it. I get you 100%.
I've noticed that even with my written reviews now, I've started swearing in those. I'm like, damn it, I had kept these so PC for so long. But I think it just shows my enthusiasm. Yeah.
Oh wow. That's interesting. I didn't know that. Well, let me ask you, Lily, because obviously we're having a conversation like all three of us. Like we have a plan of the no plan on this show, so I never know what we're going to talk about. So we've been talking about Steem because I'm excited because you're a brand new account, and I was curious. But let me ask you a couple questions regarding your life, and I doubt we're going to get anything where like anything. We are going to get complicated. We are going to get emotional, but I doubt it's going to be boring at all. It's going to be great. So tell me about you. I have to confess that I went onto a website, and turns out you're an actress. So
I am.
Yeah. So now you got to tell me what is that all about? Like, how long have you been acting? Is acting something that you do alongside music, or is it something you used to do? How does that work?
Acting is my first primary art form, so to speak, and I always did it when I was a kid, and then when I went to college I knew I wanted to pursue it professionally, so I went to school for it and did my apprenticeships, and it's still a very active part of my life. I have a manager and I go to auditions and such, and music has come to me relatively recently. Started playing music kind of in between rehearsals and performances, and it became a creative outlet when I wasn't working on a production.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
When you say recently, my mind goes to months. It can't be months. You can't get that good and oh, yeah, last week I got a guitar, What do you mean recently?
I'd say probably maybe about 5-6 years ago. And okay. But I think I'd say recently because and this is something that has been really cool and my brain around it. I've been hanging out, or I have a lot of friends who have studied music in school. They've got PhDs in it, like super crazy talented classical musicians who are touring and kind of doing that life. And I always felt like an amateur compared to them. And I always felt like I was doing a disservice to my friends who were pursuing music in a big way to call myself a musician. And it, for the most part, was just something that was for me and for myself and something that made me happy. But I never planned on doing anything with it.
Oh my God, Lily! I'm gonna ask you a really weird question, but I have a feeling. Are you a middle child by any chance?
No, I'm the older of two.
Oh, okay.
Wow, I was going to say youngest too.
Sorry, those are.
We're all over the place.
Well, the reason why I say that is because of what you were talking about, saying oh, maybe I would do a disservice and all this stuff. And I'm not attacking you, by the way. I'm a middle child, and so I'm
the youngest, so yeah.
And she's the baby. I have two brothers. Yeah, look, we're all here. We're all representing our siblings' position. I don't know.
Action. I don't know.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, I got two brothers who are amazing musicians. My oldest brother is like a ridiculous guitar player. He can play with his feet. I'm not even joking. Like he's just ridiculous.
I've heard about this. I need to see it still, but I've heard about this from multiple sources. So yeah.
Yeah, and then Pechi, which is my little brother, who is the piggy in the chat.
Bloody kick ass. He had mementos from this week. That got a lot of mentions.
Yeah. And Pechi is also an amazing musician. So when I was growing up, Pechi caught up to my skill level as a musician within months, and then surpassed me within the first year by a lot. And so I grew up thinking to myself, yeah, it's difficult for me to call myself a musician when I have two brothers that are this talented. But I guess what happened over time, and this is, I'm saying this as if this is some sort of revelation, it's just my personal truth, is that I stopped caring. It's almost like, you know what, I just enjoy it, and if I am going to enjoy what I do, if I'm going to enjoy songwriting, it's going to feed my soul. It doesn't matter my level of skill. It doesn't matter that I can't break it down to all the technicals and all the things of the rules that I would have to follow. Like, oh, it's a mixolydian and I'm playing. It doesn't matter. If I feel it, if it talks to people, then it's awesome. Then it's valuable. Then it brings something great to somebody's life. And who cares about the label? Like, who cares? Like, cause even if nobody was to call me a musician, it doesn't matter. I mean, I'm still enjoying it.
I totally agree with you. And I kind of went into the mindset of like, all right, well, maybe I can't do like crazy shredding solos all the time. Like, but if, if I'm going to play 3 notes, what can I do with these 3 notes? 3 notes in a story. There's something that creative when you do have boundaries, or if you just change your mindset, I think.
Exactly. I don't know if you're a fan, but Bob Dylan, he's technically speaking one of the worst musicians ever to be the greatest thing ever. Because his chords, they're nothing out of this world. It doesn't take a whole lot of effort to break down the songs. There's maybe 1 or 2 that I've been like, oh wow, an inversion. But most of the time it's just really, really simple stuff. But who can deny the value of that music and how much it connects to people? I've been over the years, I don't know if this has ever happened to you, but over the years I'll be listening to a song sung by a famous artist or somebody on the coming up on the ranks, and I go like, man, that's a badass song. I wonder who wrote it. Bob Dylan. And that's happened to me 20 times. It's like, man, that's such a good song. I remember when Adele had that "To Make You Feel My Love." I had to learn it for a friend of mine's wedding, and I remember like learning the lyrics. I'm like, man, this song is so fucking beautiful. Like I feel it so good. Man, Adele is such a good songwriter. And so I went in to look at the credits, like, Bob Dylan again. He gets me. He gets me again. I mean, so who cares? 3 chords and the truth. That's what matters.
You're so right. That's so true. And also, I have heard you and your brother's music. You are so fucking good. So don't try.
Yeah, if anyone's going to say that they're not really feeling being a musician, it should be me, okay? You and... No, like, seriously, though. Nuh-uh. Those guys kicked ass in this contest. Menno joined... I can't even remember what week you first performed in open mic, but I remember hearing your entry and being like, hell yes, but I can't hear your vocals very well. You're being way too quiet on the vocals. Can you please turn them up? I can hear moments of greatness when it's loud enough, but come on. And I think it took a couple of weeks, but then suddenly there was this voice that matched this beautiful guitar, and I was like, there we go. And Menno was born into the legend he has become today.
Well, thank you, Crystal. That's awfully kind of you.
No worries.
I have to say, Lily, that and I say this again like a compliment to you and all the newcomers of the open mic. I'm gonna sound like an old man, but back in my day, we did not have this many talented people. Like it blows my mind every week. I'm like, what? Because I'm not contemplating a list of 10 people, which I barely found 10 people. I have a list of 18, sometimes 24. The max I had was 32. And I'm rotating positions. I'm going like, no, this person gets here, and I'm fighting with myself because there's so much good stuff. It is so difficult, I don't know if it was like that back in the day. Maybe not. Maybe I'm being a jerk. But
we'd have some good weeks, don't get me wrong. And for instance, like the reason I chose Verbal D and Sound Legion as co-judges back in the day was because from when I was entering, I entered week 15 and 17, just to show you how old I am, as in Steem years. I just knew that they were phenomenal musicians. Like their talent was clear. And for me, they really just shined bright in amongst the crowd. And then Last Cypher asked me, and I'm like, oh, shit, I wasn't really thinking of being a judge because, yet again, didn't consider myself a musician. I'd been out of the game for, like, a good decade with munchkins and stuff. But, yeah, he offered it to me, and I jumped in, and I loved it. And, Aggie. Yeah, like it was crazy when we started getting these new waves of talent rock up, And Menno, you were definitely in one of those waves where it was just like, oh shit, this is changing. This is really going to start to get more intense. Because some weeks would be like, if a whole bunch of people didn't enter, it'd be like, oh, it's a little quiet. It's not really where I want it to be, but there are still some good songs. Since we did Songwriters contest, which was Menno's little brainchild, that's when we really, I think, turned things up to a whole new level of insanity.
I agree. And speaking of insanity, why don't we play the song that you posted on D-Sound today, Lily? Because that song is awesome.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I left you a comment on it, and of course I can be open about the fact that I love it so much because it's not part of the competition, and it's I'm not going to show bias, but it's a beautiful tune. And as a matter of fact, Polymath, is that how you say the name? He wants to sing on it. It's a beautiful song. So since M1 is asking when does the music start, let's do that. Let's start the music.
All right, I'll just drop into the other room when we get going.
Yeah, this song is called The Devil's Bride. Okay, so interesting.
Good name.
Yeah, interesting name. It caught my attention right away. But this is Lily Wilton. This was uploaded today. By the way, D-Sound doesn't store it forever, so if you want a copy of this song, I would suggest you download it from D-Sound, because D-Sound, after I think 10 days or so, it deletes music, for those who don't know. So this song is called The Devil's Bride by Lily Wilton.
Oh, I saw the devil himself, and I looked him dead in the eye. He said, darling, come closer, I don't wanna hurt ya, at least not tonight. I've got no one by my side, and I'm looking for a bride. Here the night need your answer first. And I kissed him till I burst, saying, baby, do your worst.
So guys, I mean, do I really have to sell you guys on the idea that this is a talent you need to be following on Steem? I don't think I have to do that. I think it's pretty apparent. It's just, honestly, this song reminds me of so many things. I have a hard time putting my finger on it because I'm thinking it's a bit of a soundtrack. I'm thinking it sounds retro, but it doesn't sound retro. It's got some gothic elements to it. It's got, I don't know. I almost want to say that it has a little bit of country built into the song, but I'm not sure about that either. So yeah, it's just beautiful, really. So, well, anyways, this is being recorded, just so you guys know, and we're having some technical issues right now. Nothing that anybody who's listening on the recording is going to detect, but for some reason we have a crazy delay, and Rondon right now is taking care of it, so it should be fixed very, very, very soon. I'm going to attempt on this particular post, because I want to help Lilly grow on the Steem and blockchain as fast as possible. I'm going to attempt to make extra emphasis on the fact that you need to be following this account, because the fact that she has just started, that is her second or third week, I want to say second, and she's already putting this kind of content, this quality of music on the blockchain.
That was insane.
Is pretty amazing.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
I love
so
that
cool.
song.
This shit has just been like sitting in my living room for the longest time, and it's thank you guys. This is so dope.
I can totally see me wailing out to that later.
It's a beautiful, beautiful song. Absolutely beautiful song. Listen,
Fully, like, just I just wanted to say, like, you've got like this unique, clear voice, but that guitar with it and the way you presented that, I really just love the feel you created there. Beautiful.
So much. That's a New York City siren for you. Sorry about that.
That's awesome. You know, we're having I guess a very, very crazy delay. I don't know what's going on, but is it?
Yeah, it was really odd when we jumped back into the listening room. It was still us talking a fair while ago, and I was like, oh shit.
So we might be having more than 10 seconds.
It was definitely over 10 seconds at the time. Ron's saying it's fixed now, I believe.
Minutes. You know what's funny about that is that I was thinking to myself as the show was going on and people were responding to the things we're talking about. It's like, man, people are like very low energy today because they're responding so slow. And normally they react right away. And
usually they're on it, and it's like,
yeah.
I'm not keeping up with the conversation because I'm too busy reading the chat.
Like Betty said something like, "Oh, okay, got it. Well, next day talk about Steem," and I was like, "Yeah, but that was like a minute ago. Like, where did you just started talking about that now?" So now it makes more sense. You know, now it makes a lot more sense. But,
yeah, I don't think I've ever had a delay that long. It was really disconcerting when I popped in there, and I'm like, how long ago were we talking about this shit?
Yes. Yeah. Well, that's live radio for you. It's always going to have little glitches here and there. But this conversation is awesome. And of course, the song that I just shared is very special. And I was telling people, I'm going to say it again because I can't put more emphasis on this than I mean, I can and I will. This is an account you should be following because in the second or third week, this is the content that she's doing. Just imagine what's going to be down there 3, 4, 5 months down the road. So if you are not following Lilly Wilton, if you're listening to this on the recording, you ought to. You're robbing yourself.
Thank you.
And you should be happy. If I'm not mistaken, I think I'm following you, and I'm a really crappy follower. Like, I just don't go around following people. So you've caught my attention, and I want to keep hearing your music, so don't stop.
Oh,
so much,
exactly.
guys.
You're not allowed
This
to
is
quit.
all just me being selfish, isn't it?
Yeah. See, it- which is actually a very good segue to a conversation I was meaning to have with you, Crystal. And of course, I want to hear Lily's idea behind this, so because I know she's an opinionated girl. What do you say? Yeah, I know. I can tell. Listen, I have this thing, right? It can be a little bit of a curse, but I psychoanalyze everybody, right? Everybody.
I analyze everything people say, could say, would say.
When I read,
So I'm with you on it.
yeah, when I read lyrics, I'm not just like reading lyrics. You know, I am attempting to take a peek into somebody's soul, right? It's in that sense,
100%, yeah.
in that sense, like I said, it can be a curse at times because it almost means like I can't have just small talk at times. So like I'll meet somebody and like 10 minutes later, I'm asking them, you know, how they got jaded. You know what I mean? So
Small talk is so gross, though. Who wants that? It's just
yes,
not today, Satan.
exactly, not today. So
I love that.
So the segue, my point of where I wanted to lead the conversation, is the whole thing about the gift economy. This whole concept about the gift economy, and this whole concept about being selfless is really selfish. So let me ask you. First, let's ask Lily. Let's put her on the spot. What do you think about that? What do you think about this whole thing of like, oh, and on Steem, people are fake nice. They're way too nice. This makes no sense. There are people being so giving with their compliments and giving you the upvotes. That's just because they want upvotes too. What is your feeling 2 weeks in when you hear stuff like that, or if you haven't heard it yet, because you will? How does this feel to you? That's a perfect picture.
First of all,
That's
well
me,
done.
right there.
Well done, Ben. Instinct is to think like there's so much toxicity and grossness out there that like the second someone is nice, everyone's like, that's not real.
Exactly. It's just like, yeah, no, it can't be it. No.
Yeah. And you know what? There's something that I really like that song, but what I think I'm gathering from Steam It is that there's this really, really beautiful sense of you're honoring somebody for their process as well as not just the product. And when you put yourself out there, when you put writing or music or a photo or whatever it is, very rarely are we rewarded for exposing that vulnerability in ourselves. It's a brave fucking thing to do, and it should be rewarded. And if somebody touches me and connects with me in that way, like I absolutely want to tell them, because very, very rarely do we get to hear that on the other side. So that's my first instinct on that.
I agree 100%. You know, Lucifer made a post yesterday. It was yesterday. It was a really good post about the gift economy and kind of this whole thing. Like, it is connected with this conversation. You know, how people here can be very nice and supportive and all this stuff, to where some people are skeptic about it, exactly in the way that you're describing. But it's a very interesting concept, because the truth of the matter is that, yeah, content is important. Of course it is. But content is important because it becomes some sort of a window to the person that you are attempting to connect with. So, like, here's my point. I'm going to be pretty blunt about this. If you did not write a song like that, you know what I mean, that I read that about you and I learned those things about you, and this might sound like I'm being a jerk, but I'm just being honest, and honesty is never a bad thing. I would not have the interest I had in supporting you, in helping you, in, you know what I mean, getting to know you as a human being. So it's connected. But now that the connection is established, now that I know, like, you know what, this is a good human being, this is somebody who is brave enough, as you describe, to be vulnerable, because it takes courage to be vulnerable, to say, hey, this is me, I'm real, this is a raw element of myself, take it or leave it. It takes courage to be that weak, You know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, this is a good person. And now that connection is established, now we fall into this whole idea of the gift economy, which is I give you my upvote, my support, and all this stuff, not because I expect something back, not because there's a guarantee reciprocity, meaning that, oh, well, listen, I'm doing this only because I know that Lilly here pretty soon, she's gonna drop like 2 Bitcoin into this whole thing, and then she's gonna upvote me. That's not the purpose.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? So, in that sense, I think our little home, on this virtual home that we have, is kind of special because it does participate of the gift economy. I don't see that almost anywhere.
Totally.
I so agree. And like with the whole, there's a fakeness on Steem. I don't know about everyone else, but I'm a busy lady generally, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't have time to go blow wind up your skirt and be full of shit. I just don't have the time, energy, resources to waste my time being fake nice about shit I don't care. My best policy is, if you don't like it, if you have nothing nice to say nothing at all. And with open mic, honestly, there is so much more that I do love that I just don't have the time to comment and get back to. Like, we have so many hundreds of entrants each week. To leave them all a solid comment would just render me useless. I would never get anything done. So like when I hear people saying, oh, you're always, you're too positive, you're too nice, you're whatever, I'm just like, well, I don't waste my energy with the negative side of things. What does it get anyone? It just lets down the person you're telling them. It lets you down because you're projecting out this image of anger and hate and bringing, like, there's never any good is brought from bringing down someone's art and creativity, in my opinion. And I love that we've got a panel of judges that feel very similar to me, and our main goal is to just work on presenting the very best musicians to as much of Steem It and really the world in general as we can, because we know how talented you guys are and how much you deserve the attention that often you haven't been getting elsewhere.
100%. That's kind of, it's part of the mission, and the second element of the mission is really, honestly, is to really create that community, which obviously the open mic has, and that culture of camaraderie. Is that how you say it? Camaraderie. Like,
camaraderie, yeah.
Yeah, like you were saying earlier, how everybody's supportive. It's real. It's kind of like people get it. It's like, hey, we're all in here. Everybody's stripping off their masks. Of course, there are a few that don't. But let's just, for the sake of my example, everybody's stripping off their mask. They're putting their best self out there, the vulnerable self. We all get it. Nobody's here to attack. Let's enjoy these connections. Let's enjoy this brotherhood. I'm gonna sound very Australian right now, but that's fucking special because I've never had that before.
I am having an influence.
But I've never had that before. I've been sharing my music for years. It's not like it's not like, oh yeah, last year I decided. No, I've been sharing it forever. Like the other day, well, not the other day. It's been a few months. Yidneth Priscilla, which obviously was talking about how she used to be an mp3.com and how she met Serena painting angels back then. I was also an mp3.com, by the way. It's just that I was a tiny account. I think I uploaded twice, maybe got a terrible review and never did it again. So I was not encouraged to keep on participating. But I've been doing this forever. I've been writing songs forever because it feeds my soul. It helps me heal. It allows me to understand life because it's so freaking complicated. So finding a place where I can do that and be safe is priceless. Aside from the crypto stuff and all stuff that I actually enjoy as well, but having that environment is priceless. How do you put a price tag on that?
Yeah, I don't think you can, man. Like, and I have to say, like, to be fair, Menno jumped in to this with both feet and all his heart. And I mean, how many weeks in were you when you first started before setting up the Songwriters Challenge with us?
I don't know, maybe like a month.
It was pretty early on. It was a month or two in, I think. but you just took us all by storm, and you saw this community, and rather than just be like shocked and dumbfounded staring there like, wow, that's happening, you're like, okay, this is amazing, I'm gonna jump on, grab it with both hands and take it for all I can. And creating that contest really, really stepped up the game. Like, there weren't even at first couple of weeks that many entries because it was so brand new, even though it was a branch off open mic. But seeing all the people that it brought in and the crossover from main open mic, and then hearing from a bunch of musicians that I hadn't really heard too much from before, but when we give them a theme and they come up with such brilliant songs in like 4 days, it's really, you realize the amazing place you're at, and you helped create that now, and that's why we had to get you on as a judge.
Well, thank you. Well, you don't know about this stuff, Lily, because this is before your time. This was when we had to go to school uphill both ways in 5 inches of snow. So this is before your time. You know, but the truth of the matter is that people are claiming for a Songwriters Challenge too, and we made Lucifer, whatever you want to call him, agree to it. We are going to do it. We're still kind of working out some kinks, and the reason why I say this is because we still sometimes struggle to gather all the entries, and some things are being worked out. The open mic Discord server, as some of you know, actually all of you should know, we have an open mic Discord server, and there's a bot there that's going to help us to be able to scale and all this stuff. So once we are comfortable, once it's like, okay guys, we got it, then we're gonna do it. And the reason being is because we don't want to fumble the ball. It's like we don't want, and I'm saying we, right? I'm kind of speaking for all the judges, but I think we can all come to agreement on this one. We don't want to be stressed out to the point that our stress will kill the bias. Like all of a sudden we're like, man, I am so angry right now. I've been missing entries all week, and and then this song, I don't want to listen to. You know, I don't want that to happen. At least for me, you know. So that's kind of we've
100%,
been. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I love being an open mic judge. I love listening to original music. I freaking love it. But it's not an easy job. Like somebody said to me, "Hey man, you have no idea what you're signing up for," and they were 100% correct, because you are listening to so many entries. And I try to space them out. I don't know if you do this, by the way, Crystal, but I try to space them out, because I'll listen to 15 songs, and then if I keep on doing it, then I'm bound to not want to listen, and I want to listen. I don't want to just like, oh, it's in the background while I am cooking something. You know what I mean? I want to listen.
I'm polar opposite to you. That's hilarious. I go massive binge session, so that they're all right there fresh in my mind. I'll listen through all entries in one day, create a short list. Next day I go back, re-listen to everything again, color heap, and then on the third day when I'm writing the post, I finally settle on a layout and placements and stuff. And I'm telling you, people move all over that fucker.
I do not envy you guys, that's for sure. That looks like a tough job.
I just feel like I can never mention enough people, and I used to do some pretty massive mention lists.
When doing the Songwriters Challenge, you can look them up, because obviously everything that's in the blockchain is going to stay there forever. But if you would see the reviews that Crystal would do, they would be like 2 pages long. Crazy.
Cool.
Yeah, she was like the review.
I do like to word a bit.
Yeah, pretty crazy. Passion Ground is here. He can't find the chat. Can somebody tag him in the chat to see if he can, because he's trying to see the audience chat. But yeah, listen, if you're listening, brother, yeah, everything is happening. This is live. It's happening right now. Anyways, guys, why don't we listen to another song? Because Lily actually sent me 2 tracks, even though she only sent me 2. I think she only sent me 2. We are going to listen to 3. And I am going to bend the rules a little, because her open mic entry is pretty awesome. And I think, honestly, it's worth listening to, because it has a ukulele, and I think it's awesome. Yeah. So we're going to listen to another track by Lilly Wilton. This one is called Good Night, My Love. Good Night. So this is a YouTube file, so I foresee no problems with this one. This is a a recent recording, Lily, or is it old? Is it one of the ones that you've had on the back burner also forever?
That one is probably a couple months old, but I did just use that. I recorded another video and used it as my open mic entry for week 85 this upcoming week. So if it doesn't work, then we have a backup one.
Oh, yeah?
But that video, I think, is like 5 months old, I think.
Wow. Okay, awesome. All right, let's do this. So this is Lily Wilton. Good night, my love. Good night.
I like moonlight in the mornings, but the nighttime suits me too. But you said mornings are just for sunshine, and since that day I lost my way to you. So I tried singing a little louder, a ballad for the morning moon to hear, and everyone around loved how the music sounded. But you had headphones in your ears. Take the time you need. Take the blanket that you like. But there's a spot in the bed in case you change your mind. Good night, my love. Good night. I eat poison now for breakfast. Sometimes bagels suit me too. I try to put it down, then I hear you coming round, and poison seems to soothe. Take the time you need. Take the blanket that you like. But there's a spot in the bed in case you change your mind. But there's a spot in the bed in case you change your mind. Good night, my love. Good night, my love. Good night, my love. Good night.
You know, we have to address the elephant in the room here. We have to address it
What's
because
that?
because there is a darkness to your music. I love it, by the way, but there's a darkness to your
Hell
music.
yes, it's kick-ass.
Yeah, and I'm trying to figure it out. Like, I'm really trying to figure it out. Like, do you like horror movies? Like, what is that? Like, there's a darkness in there. You got okay. First of all, tell me your favorite songwriters. Tell me. It's like don't get me wrong. First of all, let me say the song is beautiful. I get it. That's not it. It's just like there's an element of darkness in there that I can't put my finger on?
I don't know what it is. Some of my favorite songwriters are the Civil Wars, even though they've broken up. I really like Ingrid Michaelson. I like Anais Mitchell. Hozier is one of my favorites. Of lots of kind of singer-songwriter kind of folks. And
I love stuff with a bit more of a darker tone, like weaved through it. And you've done that rather expertly, so it's not just full on dark. There's like this happy, airy feeling, and then there's sort of like these darker notes throughout. But I think it's also like a representation of life. You know, there is darkness in life, and it's sort of acknowledging that in little awesome way you do.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't know where it comes from, because I cannot watch horror movies. I'm the
all you have to do is mute them and put on subtitles. No longer scary. It's all fucking music, people. I really suck at horror movies myself.
My imagination is way too active for that. Like, as soon as that thing ends and people leave, I'm like, well, what if ghosts are real? What if this is all a simulation? What if this is like, I also smoke too much weed for that too. It's not a good combination.
You're awesome, and yeah, so with you on that one. The worst thing is watching it and then walking home, especially when you have to walk home past a giant, really old school cemetery. That's always fun.
Well, listen, Passion Ground has a great question, Lily. He's saying, how does acting influence your music, if it actually does at all?
It totally does. I think they're both forms of storytelling. Whenever I'm writing, I always go back to something that we often do in rehearsals as actors and directors and choreographers is, why are you saying these words right now? Now, what makes this story different? What makes this, is it more complicated? Where is it simple? Where is there humor in this really awful, dark, melodramatic scene? And where is there something kind of dark and gritty in this comedic scene? That's probably the primary influences of acting has influenced my music, is I try to approach it. I probably often go to the point of like, who is this person singing this song, and where are they thinking? And especially if I have no idea where to go, I attack it as a character with wants and needs and all that.
Sure. That's the best way to do it, in my opinion, because you're really, like, songs are often done with one mood in mind when you've written them. So if it's not specific about you and something and you want to just tell a story, it's important to know the different roles and stuff. I love acting and storytelling and stuff as well, so I'm totally with you on that 100%.
I actually know, secondhand, I know a little bit about what acting does to the emotional state secondhand, because obviously it wasn't me. I've never been an actor. But Pecci used to act, my brother Pecci, when he was younger. He actually, I have to send it to you one day, Crystal. I'm not going to put it on chat because I'm not going to embarrass him, even though I normally do. But today I'm not going to embarrass him. But he used to act. And he has like you've seen it, Coop? He's starting. He's seen it. Yeah, he was actually in a soap opera kind of deal one time and all this stuff.
No way.
But yeah, he's actually a very good actor. But I remember.
Oh yes,
mom,
I need to see this.
Yeah. It's pretty
Pecci,
great.
do it for the people. The people want to see it.
Do it for the people. So, my mom tells me, this is years ago. We're talking about what? It's been more than a decade. He's just like, oh, I can't stand your brother. And I'm like, I can't stand him right now. And I ask her, what do you mean? It's like, oh, because he took on this role, right? He took on this role, and in this role, he's this drug addict that doesn't eat ever, like whatever. He's doing like really hardcore drugs. He is sexually confused, has this facial tic, like a twitch, in his face and is extremely aggressive, right? And he keeps on bringing that home. So he was getting into character.
No, that wouldn't be fun to have at home for sure.
Yeah, so he was getting into character to the point where he couldn't shut it off. And my mom was like, I can't stand him. And if you get to know him, he's a loving guy, right? So my mom was telling me, but Betty's like milk and cookies. What are you talking about? Nah, is this role they got him for? and apparently the way that he got the role, right, when he went to audition, and this is the way I was told the story. I don't know how much of it is my mom. My mom's an amazing storyteller, but she exaggerates, but she's an amazing storyteller. She says,
the best too.
She says that when he went to audition, they gave him the profile, I guess, of the person, right? And he was like, oh, you gotta say this, blah blah blah. They give him whatever he's supposed to audition for, right? And he had to be angry and like lose his temper, right? So he really wanted the role, so he does the thing, right? And Pechi allegedly in that moment remembered me, right? Because he had to summon the anger, like he had to summon it. He remembered me, how I used to be mean to him when he was little, right? And he just went completely ballistic, like I just went psychotic. And then the director said to Petch, he's like, listen, that's it, perfect, that's what I want. Like, I don't know what the fuck happened in your life, and I don't want to know. Don't tell me, but hold on to that. That's what I want, psychotic. That's what. and my mom said, yeah, that's crazy, right? And mom was telling me, that's because of you. Like when he was little, he channeled it. He broke a chair.
So
Look
many
at that.
forms of art.
Look at that. So let me ask you this, though. So since we're going into the acting subject, and obviously I don't know too much about it except from my brother's experience, do you have that? Like, do you bring characters home? Like, and is that how they leak into your music?
Maybe. I wouldn't say I bring it home in the sense that like I wear the mask, because if you're doing shows 8 times a week, like you just don't want that heaviness lingering on you. But I think away from every show with the song that's been influenced by the themes and whatever has been going on in that show. For example, I was working on a production of A Midsummer Night's Dream, and I wrote a ukulele, similar like lullaby style of going into the forest and finding somebody in the Shadowlands, so to speak. And then I took a step back and I was like, holy fuck, that's exactly what A Midsummer Night's Dream is. So I think I walk away from each production with a song just from being around it, and ideas in rehearsal and working off of my castmates and just being around that creative atmosphere. So I think it's more of an indirect influence, but it's certainly influenced.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say that I've thought of that I could act. Like I've thought of to myself, yeah, maybe I can do it. Meaning that I've not through acting though, but through writing. Sometimes I'm able to channel somebody that's not me, or it's not even called channeling. But let's just, for the sake of argument, let's call it channeling. Like all of a sudden, I'll try to put myself in somebody else's shoes and try to think how I would react to a situation. A few weeks ago, I wrote this thing about a rat. Like I'm a rat in an alley, you know. So I think I can do it, but I don't know if I could turn it off. Maybe I would have whatever Petchy had times 10. That's the part that I think is kind of risky about acting. You know, it's kind of like, how do you not bring it home? Like, especially if you have a crazy character. Like if your character is somebody who's completely dysfunctional. Like, how do you guarantee not bringing that home?
Sure, it's hard. It can be hard, you know, especially if you're working on a show where just the content is super heavy. A show where your character is just going through trauma, like your body and your mind are exploring all of those things that you just talked about. Like, how would I react if somebody just pulled a gun on me right now? And just going there 8 times a week can be really hard. So that's another skill set that you want to develop too, is like, how do I shake this off? Because you don't want to just blow out your instrument right away, you know?
Yeah, it's 100%, 100%. So let's. You keep on saying 8 times a week. Are you currently acting every single day? Is that, I know that's your main gig, but
I'm not working on a show right now. But usually we do shows 8 times a week.
8 times a week. Wow, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Well, it was one of those things where you have to love it. Obviously, you love it. That's why you're doing it.
Oh, absolutely.
And obviously, this has to be to a different level, right? Because performing requires a lot of energy as a musician, but I would assume that in acting it has to be even more. You know, it's because I don't. Whoever doesn't perform live, if you've never performed live music, you might not know what I'm talking about. But imagine that, and Lily, of course, I want your opinion. But imagine that. Your energy level is some sort of RPMs, right? And every day you're cruising at 2500. I'm sorry. And that's normal. That when you act with people like that, when you interact with people at that RPM, everything is fine. Like nobody's gonna say, "Hey, listen, what's wrong with you?" And nobody's gonna say, "Listen, dude, chill, relax." But when you're performing, you gotta rev it up. It's almost like if you try to do it at 25, nobody will connect. And if nobody connects, it's a fail. So whatever emotional discharge, if you can even say that, whatever like emotional investment you have to put into a performance when you play live music, you got to double it, right? And then when you hear it, when it's recorded, it's almost like, where is it? Like I was singing my heart out. What is it? I put so much energy. And I see the 2500, if that makes any sense. I would assume that acting is like that times 3 or 4, right? Am I wrong?
I don't know. I'd say I'm hesitant to compare the two because I don't really see the value in being like, oh, this is harder or this is harder, because I think they both have their challenges and in their own ways. So I hesitate to say that acting is harder in that way. There is,
but like more like tiring, I guess. That would be more my question. Like, is it something like when you go, you sing? Okay, I just sang for an hour, 45 minutes. I'm tired. But when you go, you act in a play. Don't you go home like destroyed? Okay, that's it. Don't talk to me. Give me my wine, or no?
Sometimes I'd say it really depends on the show that you're doing and the role that you're playing in the show. For example, I was doing a production of Cinderella, which the show was it was only like an hour long. It was a really, really short show that at the end of every show, because I had so many technical things that my brain was constantly going through, like not only the lines, but okay, I have to put the pumpkin in this spot, and then when I touch the pumpkin I have to pull on my dress here so the dress works, and then while I'm doing this I need to make sure my left foot is exactly this way, like when we're doing the thing. And there were so many technical elements of it that, because my brain was running through like 90 things per minute. Whereas I've been in productions that have been like close to 3 hours long, and I just had a couple scenes where all I did was the other person and then go off stage. So it really depends on, or at least I would say it really depends on what you're doing and the show that you're working on. Totally, like when it is of talking about it can be really draining, because you're working with your heart, mind, and spirit, and your body as well. And sometimes there are technical things, like if you want to create like a more sinister, like you might curve your spine in a certain way, and those kinds of things can take a toll on you. So yeah, it's real. That exhaustion is super real.
Well, you said something interesting right now, so I have to ask you this question. Have you ever played the role of like an evil character, like the a nemesis to a hero or something of the sort?
I think so. I tend to get cast as like the love interest ingenue. I also tend to get cast as pretty conservative characters. I haven't played like a traditional villain in that way. I think it's smart to always think like, what are the flaws in each character? Because it's going to make a more interesting performance to watch. And even the ingenues and even angelic, straight-laced, conservative characters, like where are they devilish, and where do they mess up? Where are their flaws? though I haven't played like a super evil, sinister, crazy person, I think there are elements that I try to bring to every character.
Yeah, I'm asking you this question because a lot of people go through in acting, right? They go through stages when they're a specific age. They do the princess, then they get casted into, a role of a hero. Then they get, you know what I mean? They go through these stages, and it almost seems like at the very end of that cycle, if I would even call it that, everybody has to become at some point in time the antagonist, and becoming an antagonist is always the hardest role. Like even people, even actors, right, that we never thought they could pull it off, sometimes do it amazingly. Like Jim Carrey, I don't know if you've seen him as in his non-comedy stuff. It actually blew my mind. I'm like, what the, like, because this is a Pet Detective, like this is pretty crazy. So, and I find that to be that range of acting is the most admirable thing to me. Not to say that somebody that stays on a specific genre doesn't have merit, of course, but when somebody can do...
I hate it when someone gets typecast, though, and they can't escape it. Like, that to me is devastating for an actor, because you can't really act. You know what I mean? Like, the whole point is being able to merge from one to the other, in my opinion.
They're just so good that people can only see them as that.
Yeah, exactly. But I personally love a great antagonist, like something you can get your claws into and really work to the maximum effect.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. 100%. Do you guys know the I think it's called Faun's Labyrinth in English? El Laberinto del Fauno?
Pan's Labyrinth, maybe?
Pan's Labyrinth, that's it. Pan's Labyrinth.
Love that movie.
I keep thinking I'm not sure if I've seen it. It's on my to-do list, definitely.
Oh, yeah, you have to. It's a must-watch, honestly. It's in the must-watch list. But the evil character on that movie, right? The officer, I can't remember his name right now. If somebody if somebody can help me with the name of this actor, it'll be awesome. But that character was, to me, the most like amazing surprise ever. And the reason being is that in that movie, you hate him. Like when he gets shot and his eye rolls back and all this stuff, you feel release. That's a horrible thing to say. But you hate him so much. And that was the first time ever in his acting career he played a bad guy. He was always the stud. So that blew my mind because, of course, I'm Hispanic. A lot of people know I'm Hispanic, so I know of the guy. It's escaping me the name, but I've seen him a bunch of times. And to see him playing the bad guy was like, what? Like, this makes no sense. This dude has always been the guy from the soap operas, the good guy and all this stuff. And he did an amazing role, and that blew my mind. So if I was to act, and I'm not saying I will, I'm just kind of throwing this out there in the universe, and maybe one day I'll do it. I think I would try, or at least I would be more fun to attempt to be the bad guy, because I've never explored those things as, and maybe in that fictional world, in that realm, it's kind of safe, if I can even use that term, so it could be fun.
Absolutely.
Sergio Lopez.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that guy.
So good. Yeah, and there's also something kind of fun about when casting decisions become, in that sense, like you were saying, this guy had been playing the lead romantics for so long, and then when audiences are used to seeing him as an actor in those roles, to see him as a villain, that's really powerful. When you see like this kind of heartthrob that you've seen as this scary guy, it adds like another layer to the storytelling, I think.
For me, as an Aussie, the perfect example would be Heath Ledger. He was just, teen heartthrob in 10 Things I Hate About You, and he did Brokeback Mountain, where he was, they were, trying to gay guys coming out. I'm not sure. I haven't watched that one for ages. But then when he became the Joker, For me, that was just next level transcending performance where he just became the character on a whole new level. And I'm pretty sure that was his last role before he passed away as well. So even more impactful.
Yeah, Ledger did an amazing Joker character. I don't think he's ever going to be surpassed because I'm a Jared fan, like Loretto. Is that how you say the last name?
Jared Leto.
Jared Leto.
Yeah.
I am his fan. Like, I like his stuff. As a, you know, I'm saying, even though his last movie also his role was not that great, but when he did the Dallas Cowboy, you know what I'm talking about, the one with the that's actually based on real life with medicine for AIDS patients and stuff. It's a really strong movie. But it's a must watch. It's an awesome movie. But in that movie he plays a transvestite, and he is like amazing in that movie. Like, he's convincingly his role 100%. And by the end of the movie, you love the character. And when he dies, it's like you cry too. It's amazing. And so he's an amazing actor. But when he played the Joker, it fell short for me, like, so much. I was excited. I was like, okay, yes, this guy can do it, and then it fell short. I don't know if anybody else feels like that way about him doing the Joker, but
I definitely feel a letdown. But I mean, isn't this the first major remake after Ledger's portrayal? And I have to say that was possibly one of the best portrayals of a Joker we've had to date. He just captured the crazy that others hadn't. And this one seems a bit more too much into the fun. You can never know what I'm going to do. Whereas with Heath Ledger, it was sort of terrifying the whole time. Like, let's make the pencil disappear moment rings a bell. Like, and I'm just like, yeah, like there was this, I would hate to be alone in a room with this dude, which I don't get from Leto.
Yeah, and
Harley Quinn. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but they're saying Leto destroyed Ledger. I don't know about that. By the way, I am a Jack Nicholson fan, but that's like from another generation. But that's another. But that's a legend. That's
all my time.
Well, tell me, Lily. We're talking about acting now, and this show is supposed to be about music, and we're in acting, but it's art, and it's connected to you. And this show's really about you. So tell me, who is your acting influence? Like, what kind of movies made you say, "Hey, you know what I want to do? I want to act"? Or was it not movies? Was it more theater? What was it?
I think it was more theater, and it became, well, when I was a kid, I was just like, "Oh, play pretend. This is fun. I like hanging out with my friends and putting on this show. This is great." And then and then when I wanted to pursue it in a more meaningful way, when I got to college, I saw a couple pieces of theater that just the way that I thought about things, and just my empathy muscle in such a massive way. And I saw that, theater can be really powerful and it can really change people. And I think storytelling in general does that. Pursued acting because I was inspired to be a part of those stories that could change the way that people think. So I love certain actors and performances out there, but it's less tied to a certain person and more tied to of me watching pieces that moved me and wanting to be a part of that in a bigger way.
You said an interesting word to me right now, so we're going to address it for a second, because you said something that I suspected I didn't know. You said the empathy muscle. Would you say that it's a necessity to be an empath to be a good actor? Like, you have to be somebody who feels too much, who is overly sensitive?
Mm-hmm.
This one, because on the one hand, I want to say 1000% absolutely yes, because you need to think of, okay, well, if this person is like a kind of man who would beat his kid, like, what motivates somebody to do that?
Yeah.
And when you start thinking in that way, it does tend to bring you towards a more empathetic space. But then I could also think, on the other hand, like, if someone is a sociopath, they could probably logic their way into it.
Yeah.
And fool you?
So my first instinct is to say, like, absolutely, yes, you do need to have a profound sense of empathy to do this. But, there's probably some sociopath out there, like, laughing and just having a blast listening to my ignorance. So who knows?
Well, we have to make that distinction, right? Because a sociopath is somebody that can pretend to be empathetic.
Experience emotions generally.
I don't know. I don't know if I could. Obviously, I'll probably never find out. But I think I could detect fake. I think. Right? And then, of course, life is going to slap me one day for saying that, right?
Sometimes I think you can, but like when they're really, really good at what they do because of their lack of emotion, like, emphatic response, like they just don't give a fuck that they're fooling you. They can be even more compelling and believable because they're willing to go to any length to make you believe it, because for them, fuck ramifications. Like, that's one of the perks, I guess, of being a sociopath.
Scary.
That is scary. Well, listen,
Sure.
we've been talking for a little bit, so we need to play some more music. And I told you I was going to do it. I wanted to play the song that you won with last week, even though this is obviously, some people here have already heard it, and this is a part of the open mic, but it doesn't matter. You're going to say open mic at the beginning. Who cares? This song is amazing, and obviously this placed in second place for a reason. And I'm sure there's a few people here that haven't heard it yet. Maybe not. So I wanted to play this one, The Burn I've Learned to Love. Before we do, though, tell me, what inspired you to write the song? Was it a character or was it a personal experience?
I think it's a collection of a lot of things. This one, I wasn't working on a show at the time, so at least it wasn't directly motivated by a theater performance. But a couple of outlets in my life that one would consider weird or different, and I think there was just something that kind of into that world, and maybe that was just like my big fuck you to people for whatever reason, and I think there's something beautiful to stepping into a path that's a little bit different. That's the long-winded answer.
No, but it's great. It's great because I relate to it. I mean, when I wrote that song, the equivalent for me of that song, of those emotions, maybe I didn't word it the same. Maybe I didn't say fuck you, but in my mind, but it was definitely came from the same angle, which is, I don't even know what to call it. It's almost as if you're accepting how different you are, but in a loving way. You're like, yeah, that's okay. I know that my choices might lead to criticism. I know that my choices might lead me to be the outcast, but I'm learning to love that difference, that and accept me. And in that sense, the song is extremely powerful, and I think it has a message that all of us should embrace, which is learning to love ourselves. I mean, at least that's how I interpret it. And if that's not how you wrote it, well, that's how I interpret it. And I hope that most people get a powerful message like that from it too.
Thank you. Can we play yours too? Or can you send it to
me? Sure. One day we can do it. But not tonight. Tonight it's about your music and about really your life and your little journey on Steem. So we're going to play this one. This is called The Burn I've Learned to Love, and this was for the open mic week 84.
Steam It Open Mic Week 84. My name is Lilly Wilton, and this is an original song called The Burn I've Learned to Love, and I hope y'all like it. Thanks. Let them do what they do. Those who live above the ground. You and I need the roots. And oh, what a love. got the marks to prove it. Whoa. Let them keep their pretty roses. Now I much prefer the thorns. Champagne feels so tasteless. You're the burn I've learned to love. You're the burn I've learned to love. You make things silent out the windows, like the city's gone to sleep. Oh, I don't know how far this walk goes. Oh, but I like how water tastes when we're this deep. Oh, but I like how water tastes when we're this deep. Let them keep their pretty roses. Now I much prefer the thorns. Champagne feels so tasteless. You're the burn I've learned to love. You're the burn I've learned to love. Give me the burns, give me the bruise. I'll only win if I know I can lose. I'm finally Let them keep their pretty roses. Now I much prefer the thorns. Champagne feels so tasteless. You're the burn I've learned to love. You're the burn I've learned to love. Thank you.
So of course, with that song, she got the attention of all the judges. And yeah, we're gonna play the zombie cover too. Petchy, can you do me a favor? We won't play obviously right now because we're gonna chat a little bit more, but we'll play before we end the show. We still got 30 minutes left or so. So Petchy, can you send me on a DM also the cover of Zombie, which is also pretty outstanding, pretty awesome.
I mean, well, yeah, it really caught my attention off the bat. Like, I placed you in your very first entry. That's a rare thing.
Yeah, that is weird. I have to say, I'm super biased, and again, it almost feels like every single show. I apologize. I tend to appreciate originals a lot more, but it's not because I don't like covers. It's just because like we were talking earlier, you know, when somebody does an original song, they showed me how brave they were, and I like to reward that action. You know what I mean? So, but I heard your first entry, and I said to myself, okay, this is gonna be, this account, this little tiny plankton is about to deliver something soon, because it's pretty outstanding.
Thank you so much.
You thought you were done with Zombie? Yeah, it's true, right? Because, well, I still like the Cranberries, but obviously it was one of those songs that got overplayed back in the day. But now that now that she's gone, though, it's almost like it's not overplayed anymore. Now that she's
the
gone.
heavier remix that she was going to do the day she died, the tribute they did is absolutely beautiful as well. But I've heard 2 covers of Zombie that have really stuck in my mind over open mic all the weeks since I've been a judge. There was Kate Jablonski's version. That was absolutely stunning as well. She did very similar. She had a guitar, but lots of different vocal harmony layers.
Cool.
And she sort of made it a little bit more country feel.
Oh, yeah.
And then there would have to be yours. But I've heard that covered a lot of times. But those are the 2 that really stick in my mind. And once I heard yours, just the way you... even the way you handled recording the vocals at the beginning with the first couple of layers, how you had your face turned to the side and as the note changed, you moved where your voice was coming from. It created this like feel to the music because of its like how it's taken in by the mic, and I really liked that expert use of the mic.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, where did you learn those tricks?
That mic trick I shamelessly stole from Ingrid Michaelson because I saw a video. Shamelessly, totally not my idea. I just saw her do a looper cover of what was it? I think it's Night Swimming by REM, and I saw her use that trick. I was like, oh, that's fucking gorgeous. And then when I started playing around with it, like I just couldn't not use it. And
no, and I mean, when you use it to such great effect, it really adds so much to the layering you created. And I was lucky enough to be listening with headphones, and I tell you, it's like you can tell which side you're coming in on when you had your face turning different sides. And yeah, I just love people who, well, the voice in that one was definitely your instrument, and you made it shine by featuring all the different aspects and ways in which you can use your voice to create such a unique and amazing sound. And yeah, that's what really stole it for me.
Thank you so much.
Well, let me ask you more difficult questions, Lilly. Well, not difficult questions. It's just questions because I'm curious, really. And I'm sure other people are too. Where did you learn how to play guitar? Are you self-taught? Did you go to take lessons with somebody, or?
I took lessons on and off for a while. I guess I hesitate to say self-taught because I consider even YouTube is a massive resource.
Mm-hmm.
For sure, yep.
I'd say I started playing, and that taught me the basic chord shapes. I'm a small person. I'm 5 feet tall, and I think just having that basic education on a smaller instrument really helped me later on when I did pick up the guitar.
That cracks me up that you're only 5. Sorry, I was just thinking you look tiny, but I had no idea you were that tiny.
Oh yeah, the world is a very scary place when you're this small. This is why I can't do horror movies. It's a terrifying place.
Love it.
Oh, Betchy is 5'6". Yeah.
I'm 5'8", so I'm taller than Betchy. Yeah.
Well, Zippy and I are here on the lowdown.
Well, our mother, Betchy's my real life brother. Our mother's tiny, but she never let that stop her. But she's tiny. Is she 5 foot? Because I can't think in my mother. I think in centimeters, believe it or not. But for the rest of the world, or my American life, she is 5 feet tall. Okay, so I know exactly your height. Yeah.
Yep.
I feel like I'm probably one of the tallest girls in here at the moment. That's a bit crazy.
Well,
everyone's turning out to be really short.
It's funny how that happened because her kids. I mean, Petchy is the smallest one, but we're not short, but she's tiny, and I'm 5'11" almost. Like depends on the day, I guess. Who measures me? I think my brother Jose is probably like 5'9", but yeah.
Cracks me up. My grandparents on my father's side were both about 5 foot nothing. Like they were just both very short people. And then they had 7 kids, and they're all over 5'8", but most of the guys are like 6'5" plus sort of thing. They're giants, and I'm just like, this makes no sense.
Somehow science happens. I don't know how the science happens.
Shortness skipped a generation or something.
Well, but obviously that's never a bad thing. And listen, the fact that you embrace it like that with a smile and you're like, oh, I'm tiny, and you just laugh about it, means that to you it's never been like a bad thing. You still play the guitar amazing. So, and I like that because I've known I used to work at a music store, like so one of the excuses I used to listen to all the time when people tell me, oh, I want to learn how to play guitar, but I'm so little. And I would tell them, no, that's BS. You know, if you really want to learn it, you can do it. And now you said that to me, I'm looking at the video again, and I can totally notice the size difference between the guitar and you. But but it proves my point. You know, it's like you just gotta go for it. You figure it out. It's almost like having a small hand. Of course, you're not gonna be able to do like shredding sweeps and stuff in the same way, but
Right.
but you're gonna find a way to make it work for you. I have really chubby fingers. Like if I put 3 of my fingers together, it almost covers the whole fretboard. So for me doing like really intricate chords that are all together, I can't use a bunch of my fingers. I just have to use them like little sausages. I have to flatten them, and that's completely the wrong way to play. But that's how I do it. And like if a teacher was to see me, he would slap me. He's like, that's how you arch your fingers. I can't. They're too chubby. But my point is that I think everybody, if you want to learn how to play an instrument, if it's something that calls you, you know, or whatever art you want to do, like you figured it out. You know, it's like you figure it out because it's not an option not to do it. You know.
I 1000% agree. And I also, I mean, I know I said this before, but, you know, it's a lot easier for me to think of like, all right, instead of what can't I do, what can I do? If my hands are too small to do this thing,
yeah.
what can I do?
Exactly.
I love that.
And that
And
you
for
came up
me,
with your
it's
tappy
when
tap.
my voice won't work. What range can I sing in at the moment?
And you could find some really dope stuff when stuff like that happens.
And
Oh, absolutely, for sure.
Agrod, I'm sure Agrod, if he's still listening, if not, he'll probably listen to the recording later. He wants to know where the tappy tap comes from because he's obsessed with the tappy tap.
No idea. I think, you know, it probably stemmed from that thing of you know, what can I do? And I think I'm really to playing with rhythms in songs, especially when it is like a simple chord structure, or if there is a lot of simplicity in the song. I really like playing with the rhythms. And it just kind of happened. I had accidentally tapped and just kept going with it.
Kept it in there.
Well,
I love that. I really love that it adds an extra dimension to music when there's only like a guitar and a voice or something like that. Adding that extra percussive element really, really does pick it up a lot more.
bet you found your shirt. You have to order it now.
Amazing.
Oh, Zippy says she has a Tappy Tap song. Well, we have to
Yes.
make it. We have to make a Tappy Tap week now. You know what I was thinking about when I was listening to your Tappy Tap. I was thinking about the fact that sometimes, right? At least I do it. I'm sure other songwriters do it. I have this idea of a song in my head, and I hear all these things that are not there. Like it's almost like, oh yeah, in this part the drums come in, and when I'm writing the song. So the Tappy Tap to me was like, you know what's happening right now? It's like in Lilly's mind, the band got quiet for a second, and the drummer is timing to go back in. You know, it's kind of like
Exactly it.
the drummer is looking at everybody, going like, okay, now here we go, guys. So
Yeah.
that's
That's
exactly
so
it,
cute.
right? You were there mentally, in that stage, playing with the band.
Like it's, and I always try to think of that too. Like if, you know, obviously I don't have a band behind me, but like how can I create a more interesting layered song and an effect with just myself and the guitar? And that's absolutely where it comes from. It's just,
Be
it's just play
careful. We've
pretend.
seen where this goes. It's a gateway to becoming Nathan K.
Oh, you've
The
seen?
one man band.
Have you seen?
He
Nathan?
uses every limb.
So good.
Yeah, Nathan is pretty ridiculous. You know, he.
Every limb is moving. If
Yeah.
he could control something with his eyes, I reckon he would. I reckon we need to find a way to, like, winking, who can do, like, this face tick stuff and make things go off. I reckon he'd do it.
You know, but that being said, Nathan is amazing. He does like awesome, like I call him like a ninja because I like a musical ninja playing all those instruments at the same time. But he's also like a badass songwriter, and I fear and I say this, maybe I'm completely out of line, but I fear sometimes when songwriters focus so much on the pyrotechnics, people that listen sometimes forget to listen to the message, and the lyrics are so important. And Nathan is an amazing lyricist too, and he has a very powerful message. So I can't help but to think, and I say this with love because I love the guy, I can't help but to think that some people that have listened to his songs, this might not be the majority, but at least a little chunk, are so impressed with everything that's going on that didn't listen to the lyrics. And the lyrics were just as important as everything that was, you know, just as impressive for everything that was going on.
Absolutely. I think with Nathan, the key is to listen to it a few times. Get over the showmanship alone and the holy hell, how is he moving everything in one so synchronized?
It's like
Exactly.
second
And
printed.
then take in the lyrics on a second and third listen through. And that's why I really like it when entrants have their lyrics written out for us. It's so much easier to focus on them because it is easy to get caught up in a melody and stuff. And that's why I say that music transcends language, and why I'm always a big supporter of the foreign music we have coming in. Well, foreign for me.
That's right. Lily, I'm going to put you on the spot for a second. And I'm sorry, I apologize, but I need to know. How is it that you know some Spanish?
I had a really close family friend of mine who was from Spain, and she didn't have any kids of her own, and she kind of like adopted me as that she never had. And one day she just said to my mom, like, "Hey, I have two nieces who are Lily's age," and I think I was maybe like 8 or 9 at the time.
Mm-hmm.
One, I could just take her with me to Spain for like 3 weeks, and I went.
Wow.
Yeah, it was amazing. And
How old are you? 8 years old?
I think I was like 8 or 9 years old at the time.
That is crazy.
And I couldn't speak anything at all. Like I couldn't understand anything. But I think because I was so young, when I was exposed to it, I developed an ear for it, so that when I did study it formally later in high school and college, I could pick it up a lot easier. And
At that age, yeah, kids are very sponge brained.
Yeah, they're completely elastic, you know. That's awesome. Well, it happens a lot, right? Like Anka, well, you know this, Crystal, but this is news to Lily. Anka knows Hebrew, Russian, and English, and it happened because she was so young when she moved, right? So she was born.
I had no idea she knew Hebrew as well. Jesus.
Yeah, well, and now she knows Spanish too because of you know, well, not really because of me, but she learned it on her own. But we practice every now and then, and she knows a lot nowadays. So, but she was like, I think like 4 or 5 when she left Russia, and then she moved to Israel, and then she learned Hebrew and lived there until she was 16, and then she moved here and then learned English, and so she could speak all those languages with no issue. Now, if we're older, I'm not saying we couldn't, right? But if I was to right now, okay, that's it, I'm going to Japan, I doubt that I would be speaking Japanese in a couple months. I might be that dude that, you know, just knows the very basic things and just points at things, you know, for years. Maybe, I don't know, or maybe I would pick it up.
It's funny. I've had people trying to teach me Spanish, including Jose, and yeah, I'm shocking. And my autistic, nonverbal kids speak better Spanish than I do from Dora the Explorer. That's how sad I am in the language. Seriously, it's most of her echolalia is hola and stuff. So yeah, I'm just like, okay.
There's a lot of value to learning languages, though. I would tell anybody who's on the fence saying, "Oh my God, but it's so much work." Do it, and it goes beyond communication, because we think of it like, "Oh yeah," but I don't know this for a fact, but let me assume. Okay, I could be wrong, but let me assume that there's not that many Hispanics in Australia. Okay, could be wrong, but I don't think I am. So you say, well, learning Spanish is not valuable to me. That's a good argument, I guess. But if we see the benefits of learning a language, which would be to develop that mental elasticity, to be able to solve issues faster because your brain really becomes much more agile. It goes a lot above and beyond just communicating. It's like every time we think of something, it doesn't even matter. Like you could be thinking about, oh, where did I leave my keys? If you speak multiple languages, you tackle the issue, whatever it is that you're trying to solve, in different languages, right? So when you try to tackle things from different languages, it's exactly as if you were able to grab a problem and flip it around upside down, and you're more likely to find solutions. So learning more languages in that sense is extremely valuable. So if you still have a little bit of that Spanish, by all means, like, keep on practicing, because it's going to keep your brain agile. It's going to keep you like smart, sharp. It's just like a muscle, and it has nothing to do with you going to Spain to live. It's the other advantages, cognitive agility.
Totally. Pues ayúdame.
There you go.
Hey.
Well, and so
she says that too, and I don't know what the fuck it means.
I just whined, help me.
But was your accent Spanish, like Castellano, with the
Yep.
Yeah.
All day, every day.
I find that accent to be hilarious. Every time I hear it, I laugh. There's a few accents out there in Spanish that when I hear them, I automatically laugh. One of them is the Argentinian one, and Pechi lives in Argentina. I think it's hilarious, especially when they're angry. Don't ask me why. When an Argentinian is angry, I laugh. It's amazing. And
what is it about it that makes you laugh?
Because it's almost like you know how like Italians when they're angry, they're kind of funny, like Italians. Testa di cazzo, ma fuck you. It's imagine that, but amplified with I don't know how to. That's the best way I can describe it, because they grab the Spanish, right, and they change all these rules. So like they don't say like pollo, which means chicken, right? They say pollo. Like they'll put why? No clue. They just put an SH in front of it and all stuff. So when they're angry with all those weird changes, it's hilarious. It's hilarious. It's my favorite.
I mean, sure. I come from New Jersey, and our accent is stupid, so I can't laugh at anyone else's accent.
Passion Ground says Italians on one. You're exactly right. Yeah. Italians angry is one of my favorite things in the world. I actually have a really good friend who is from he's Napolitano. He lives now in Tampa. That I would make him angry just to laugh. I was like, oh man, I'm not having such a good day. What is Roberto? All right, let me say something mean to Roberto just to make him angry. And then he would be like, what's coming on? He would just start insulting me. And I was like, wow, okay, now my day is better. Now my life can continue. You can mimic Napolitan accent. Boltropio is from Italy, so he's like, he would be the one to understand if I start cussing in Italian. Listen, I don't want to run out of time before I play the song, because we talk. I was
gonna say we are gonna
we're running out of time. It doesn't really matter too much because we can do part later.
Robotic voice a bit.
Yeah, we can do part later, but at the same time, I want to get this in the recording. It is an amazing little track, and if anyone hasn't heard it, well, you need to. This is actually the first entry that Lilly did on the open mic, so this is already 16 days ago. And this is the first one that, like we were saying, caught our attention. We're like, all right, this
new player in this game.
New player in the game. This is something awesome is about to come. And this is the zombie cover in her own style. And the reason why I liked it, and I'll say this in the recording so people know, I'm not against covers. But if you're going to do a cover, make it your own. Like, don't play it note for note. Don't record. You know what I mean? Like, do something that makes me go like, oh, I haven't heard that before. And this is one of them. All right, so here we go.
Absolutely. All right.
No audio? People can't hear us? Is that?
Uh-oh.
You went a little robotico before for me. It sounded all like weird and yeah.
I,
Gotta love internet radio.
well,
We
that's
always
fine.
have something like this.
We always have something like this, but yeah, let me see. Let me try. Oh,
She doesn't have the power.
let me see if that fixes it. And Rondon is obviously he's not actually here. He's just pretending to listen. So
Fake newsing us again.
yeah.
We use that a lot here, apparently, and I'm just jumping in on that.
It's so funny. The first time I heard it, I was like, "Oh my god, that's brilliant!"
Wait
Oh,
until
it
it
becomes
goes
the
down and they're discussing hardcore topics that, you know, are often censored, and then everything will go down. It's like, it's the man, they're founders.
Well, listen, because there are going to be people listening to this in a recording, we're just going to go ahead and play the song. Hopefully, it is going to be on the recording. Obviously, people are not going to be able to listen to it on the bot on Discord, but it is going to be on Twitch. So if we got anybody who is doing it on Twitch, they are going to be able to listen to the song, and it being in the recording, whoever's listening to it later on Steem is going to be able to listen to it. So I'm going to go ahead and play it, and I'll still move you ladies to the audience, and I'll try to figure out the bot myself.
All right,
And
I'll
hopefully
pop
it'll
us
work.
out if you like, but yeah, maybe bring us back when it's over if I can't hear.
All right, so this is a zombie cover for those who are listening to the recording, or if you're listening on Twitch, by Lilly Wilton.
Hello, my name is Lilly Wilton, and this is my entry for Steem It Open Mic Week 83. must be mistaken. What's in your head? Thank you.
I love the endings of these recordings. She's always like, thank you at the very end of all the recordings. Well, guys, we are running out of time, and I want to be able to say to everybody here once again, thank you so much for joining me on this show. Thank you so much for being part of my life, for being part of my experience on Steem. Thank you to Lilly for coming on to the show. I am extremely grateful to Crystal that she made it, even though she hasn't slept almost at all for this whole week. We might be having some crazy delay again because they haven't joined back on the audio, but it's all good. It's how things work. Today we've had some glitches on the system, and that's completely fine. If you are, however, listening on Steem, I'll tell you what, you are missing out because these recordings usually have a lot more going on the chat that you're not able to see on the recordings. All the graphics, the GIFs, and the jokes, you're completely missing out. I'm going to include on this recording, as I normally do, a link to the MSP PalNet Discord server. If you are listening and you want to be part of the audience, we have awesome shows that happen every single day. Most of the day now, the schedule is getting filled up of different topics. So you need to be part of the audience. You need to be part of what's going on the server too. Again, to you, Crystal, thank you so much for being here. Lily, thank you so much for being here. We're running out of time, Lily, but we cannot end it until you kind of give your closing thoughts. What do you see yourself doing this year? What's your plans for your art, for your music, for your acting? And what do you think Steem is going to be able to provide for you?
So many thoughts, but thank you, everyone, for your amazingly kind words and support and love. I had no idea I was ever going to do anything with music, so this giving me a kind of whiplash. It's I hope to keep sharing my music, the stuff that I've been writing over the past year or two. I'm hoping to learn a bunch of stuff that to just kick ass at. I'd love to work and collaborate with the insanely talented community here, and just make friends with like-minded, dope people. So thank you guys so much for everything. I'm really, really looking forward to being a part of this community.
That is so awesome, because I have really high hopes that when we do get the Songwriters Challenge Round 2 going, that we will have you joining us, because I'm quite excited to see what you can create under some serious pressure we put people under.
I'm excited. It sounds cool.
It brings out some fucking phenomenal music, though. It really does.
It is really fun. I can't wait to start it myself. Well, because we are about to enter recording, I'm just going to say to everybody listening once again, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for participating of this little show with me. I'm always looking forward to Wednesdays because I love having these conversations. I love talking to the people behind the songs. And again, thank you so much. Thank you, Lily, for being here. Thank you guys for listening. This is Menno signing out.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.